Hey guys, this is Dr. Callahan for sections 1.6 on literal equations and formulas. Make sure you guys have your guided notes. Turn over to 1.4 and let's go ahead and get started. So before we go ahead and get going, I want you guys to kind of do a little bit of subjective reflection on this. So this is a discussion question on model and discussion, and it says Nora drew a non-square rectangle. Then she drew the length of each side from end to end to make the length segment to represent the perimeter. There are three questions. A says, write the equation that represents the perimeter of the model shown. B, rearrange the order of the sides so you can represent the perimeter with a different equation. Is this equation equivalent to the first equation? And C, use structure. How many different ways can you express relationship in part A and B? Are there any more other useful ways than that? So maybe pause the video and then go ahead and answer those questions. And again, it's not either right or wrong, it's just give it a try. All right, so what are literal equations? Literal equations is when you have to solve for a variable, but it's not just one variable. There are many other variables clustered together with that one variable. Like for example, number 5 says solve each literal equation for the given variable. Here it's given that you have x, so my job or your goal is to get x by itself. But as you can see, x is not by itself. You have a y and you have a 12 right there. So to get x isolated and by itself, you got to get rid of the 12. Opposite of a positive 12 is a negative 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. When that happens, positive negative 12 cancels. You have x now by itself. And then on the left side, y minus 12, we're not sure what that's going to be because I don't know what y is. So you just write it down as y minus 12. And that's it. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can go ahead and use the commutative property and you just flip it over. So x equals y minus 12. For number 6, your goal here is to get m by itself. And as you can see, m is not by itself. M is inside the parenthesis. You have this ugly fraction 4 over 5 on the outside, and you also have a 7 right there. So let's go ahead and get rid of the number that is the furthest away from m, in which case it is the 4 over 5. Opposite of a 4 over 5 is going to be a 5 over 4. So I'm going to multiply the reciprocal on both sides. When I do that, 4 over 5, 5 over 4 cancels, and I have m plus 7 on the right side. On the left side, you have 5 over 4 in. Next up, I want to get rid of the 7. Opposite of a positive 7 is a negative 7. So positive negative 7 cancels on the right side. M is now by itself. You cannot combine the n with 7, so you just write them separately. So 5 over 4n minus 7. And that is your answer. Okay, so for number 7, let's take a look. It says, use the equation from exercise 6. I'm going to go back to number 6. To find m when n is 40. So n is 40. And our goal here is to find m. Let's do exactly the same thing. Multiply by the reciprocal, which in this case is going to give you a 5 over 4. Multiply on the right side, multiply on the left side. 4 over 5, 5 over 4 cancels. 5 plus 7, or excuse me, m plus 7 is what's left on the right side. On the left side, you want to put a 1 under the denominator, and then if you take a look at this, you have a 40 and a 4. You can actually cancel that because 40 divided by 4 is going to give you a 10. 5 times 10 is just 50. Divided by 1, it's still 50. To get rid of the 7, opposite of a positive is a negative. Positive negative 7 cancels. M is by itself. On the left side, you should have 43. And that is your answer. Okay, number 4. It says Diane began to solving the equation g equals x minus 1 divided by k by using the addition property of equality. Explain Diane's error and describe how do you solve for x. Okay, so x is right here, but you have a negative 1 and a k. Your goal is you want to get rid of the k. Opposite of a divided by k is a multiplication of k. Not 5, k. So when I multiply by k on both sides, that's my first step. My second step is to get rid of the negative 1. Opposite of a negative 1 is a positive 1. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have G equals X minus 1 divided by K. My first step, like I said before, is to multiply both sides by K. Denominator cancels with the K. X minus 1 on the right side, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K. So G comes first. I'm going to put this in alphabetical order, G times K. Then I want to get rid of the negative 1. So I'm going to add 1 on both sides. Positive negative 1 cancels. Bring down the X. And then you have to write this separately because G times K is its own term. And then 1 is just by itself. Okay, so that is your answer. Oops. I meant to actually use a highlighter, but there we go. And that is your answer. Number 8, let's take a look at this one here. And anytime during the video, if you are a little bit stuck, you can pause it, rewind it, etc. William got scores of quiz 1, quiz 2, and quiz 3 on all 3 quizzes. Write a formula for the average, keyword is average, of X for all 3 quizzes. So what I can do is I can do Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 divided by 3, and that's going to be the average for William, okay? For B, it tells me that William got an 85 and an 80 on the first 2 quiz. So I'm going to put 85 plus 88, but then I don't know what he got on the 3rd quiz because that's exactly what's asking for. It says, what formula can William use to determine the score he needs on the 3rd quiz to get an average of 90? So this is what I have. Now, before I attempt to move a few things around, I want to combine like terms. I have an 85 and an 88. Let's add those together. Carry the 1, 16, 17. So I have 173 plus the 3rd quiz that I don't know what he has equals 90. My goal is to get Q3 by itself. So in order to do that, I want to get rid of the 3. Opposite of a divided by 3 is a times by 3. So then 3 cancels. 90 times 3 is 270. Next, what I want to do is to get rid of the 173. Opposite of a positive 173 is a minus 173. So then I have 270 minus 173. I will have to borrow, so that's going to give me a 26. That becomes a 10. And then that will give me a 9. 97. So William will have to receive at least a 97% on his 3rd quiz in order for him to get an average of 90%. And that actually really makes sense, you guys, because if you think about it, if he wants to get a 90%, which is an average, okay, that's his goal. Look at his first 2 scores, 85 and 88. Those are not even at 90. So the 3rd quiz has to be substantially higher than 85 and 88, much, much higher than 90 in order to average a 3 out to 90. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at example 3. This is write the formula of the area of a triangle, which is 1/2 base times height in the term of h, to find the height of the triangle when the area, which is 18, is equal to 1/2 base, which is a 9, times height. My job is to get h by itself, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this. Put a 1 underneath the 9. 1 times 9 is a 9. 2 times 1 is a 2. H. If I want to get h by itself, I have to get rid of the fraction. So I'm going to do the reciprocal, multiply on both sides. H is now by itself. I'm going to put a 1 underneath the 18, cross multiply, or excuse me, multiply across. 2 times 18 is, and actually you can maybe even reduce it, because 18 divided by 9 is a 2, so 2 times 2 is a 4. And that is your answer, 4 inches. All right, so now that we have gone over literal equations, you learned plenty about how to isolate a variable. It's the same thing as solving equations, except you just have to get used to the fact that it's not just one letter that is there. They might have multiple letters. So I'm gonna have you guys do a little bit of homework and practice, and you're gonna be doing the literal equation practice formulas. You can do this anywhere you would like, and it says solve for m. So I'm just gonna highlight it for you, so it's a little bit easier. Your job is just to get m by itself. Okay, and then also right here, Make sure you guys practice with them. I know they're a little bit harder, but you guys are super smart and you can do it. When you are ready for this, your quiz is right here for 1.4. Remember when I went over the syllabus, it is going to be out of 4 to 10 points. 10 means you get everything correct. 4 means you're absent and you're not even in class doing this. And a 5 means that you're present, but you didn't bother turning anything in and you just essentially left the quiz blank. So I hope everybody gets somewhere close to a 10. All right, have a great day, you guys.